The Edmonton Oilers are doing the unthinkable as depth scoring and goaltending prove to be the difference maker on the side of the blue and orange. We'll get into that today on Oilers Digest. I mean, folks, what a game that was last night. I mean, that was, one of the most exciting low scoring games I've ever seen in the game of hockey. But we'll get into that in just a second. But first, 81% of you have not yet subscribed to the channel that are currently watching these videos. If you love the Oilers, if you're loving these videos, make sure you hit that button down below for any and all Oiler content, as the Oilers are rolling on their way to the Western Conference Finals with nighty-night Las Vegas. The Oilers rolling into T-Mobile Arena up 3-1 against a very desperate Las Vegas Golden Knights that were without Mark Stone last night. But I mean, both teams trying to play, a careful game, careful with no mistakes whatsoever. But the Oilers finding that little window of hope there as they take this 1-0 in Game 5 there to take the series 4-1, getting revenge on the Vegas Golden Knights from 2023 when the Vegas Golden Knights eliminated Edmonton on home ice. This year, Edmonton gets to do the same, and a sweeter touch there in overtime with some depth scoring. Just taking a look at the scoring summary, which seems to be an oxymoron in this recap here. In the first 40 minutes, no scoring. You thought that was enough. In the third period, also no scoring there with the shots on goal. I mean, again, both teams playing tight defensively. It was going to take a greasy goal to get this victory for either squad there. Both Adin Hill and Stuart Skinner standing on their heads for a complete 60 minutes until 7 minutes in, or not a depth score by a depth guy who hasn't scored since January 23rd against the Vancouver Canucks there. So big time player in a big time role there. You've seen Kasper Kapanen with multiple clutch goals, 2016 in the World Juniors, the golden goal for Finland in the World Juniors, a double overtime goal for the Toronto Maple Leafs against the Washington Capitals in 2017, scored a goal in Game 7 for the Leafs against the Boston Bruins. So Kasper Kapanen rising to the occasion yet again there. 7 minutes and 14 seconds into the first overtime period from Leon Draisaitl in Darnell Nurse. And Kapanen, very humble after the game on his goal, says it doesn't matter who scores as long as someone does. The goal is important, yes, but without Stu and guys putting their bodies on the line, it wouldn't matter. Lots of block shots, lots of, again, tight defensive play by the Oilers. If there had to be, 3 words to describe that one last night, again, tight defensive game. And that's what you absolutely love to see from the Oilers, who are winning multiple games in multiple different kinds of ways. But this funny tweet here from Pete Blackburn says Kasper Kapanen finishes the series with more goals than Jack Eichel, Tomas Hertl, Pavel Dorofeyev, Ivan Barbashev, Brett Howden, and Brandon Saad combined. The Oilers shutting down Jack Eichel these last 2 games here for the Edmonton Oilers. Big time plays again from Kapanen, and his second straight shutout there from Stuart Skinner, who I would have thought got the first start of the game, keeping the Oilers in it. Great save on Victor Olofsson there, and again, another key stop in overtime from Stuart Skinner there. But I mean, kudos to Adin Hill. I mean, the guy lost his rocker in game number 4 there, but again, he's calm, cool, and collected for the most part in game 5 there. So kudos to the Vegas Golden Knights on a great playoff series there. But again, Stuart Skinner almost at 2 goals saved above expected there. Expected goals since 1979, which is very coincidental, as that was the Oilers' first year in the NHL there. But the guy was just he had a certain calming presence about him last night. At no point did I ever worry about Stuart Skinner letting in a leaker, because I knew he was locked in. We all saw his record in games 4 through 7 of a Stanley Cup playoff series, and he proved once again to the haters that hey, when he locks in, he's as good as the best of them. As you can see here, Stuart Skinner's made 47 saves and has 2 shutouts in the last 2 games, clutch in net for the Edmonton Oilers. But he just says, it's the nature of the game, the nature of the position, but being able to come back in no matter what the scenario is, and having the resilience in me is something I can be proud of. And lots of Oiler fans are proud of Stuart Skinner there. I mean, again, I gave the guy some flack multiple times during the season, maybe even the entire season. But again, I can give credit where credit is due. And I mean, the guy, Stuart Skinner, these last two games, I mean, the rest of the team just put their name on the group project, and Stuart Skinner handed it in to having done all the work there. So again, kudos to number 74. Just taking a look at some more stats here, 30 to 24 in terms of the shots on goal for the Edmonton Oilers. Hits 50 to 46 again. Lots of crashing in banging last night. I mean, a good chunk of the game was just a dump and chase by both teams, again trying to avoid any crucial mistakes there. But both teams again going 0 for on their power plays. The Oilers going 0 for 2 on both of their power plays, having yet to score a power play goal in the playoffs so far. So a little bit concerning, but I mean, hey, they're getting it done 5-on-5. And the Vegas Golden Knights going 0 for 1 on their lonesome power play there. Again, the only complaint I would have from the Oilers, the breakouts were a little sloppy last night. There was some sloppy play. The Vegas Golden Knights, were playing desperate, and the Oilers was, hey, it's just another game there. But again, of course, that's the mindset that you have to have in these types of games. They're not just, it's another game, but hey, it's pretty much, a best of one for the next three, winning they're up 3-1 there. Just taking a look at these stats, I mean, I don't want to say it was non-eventful. Lots of Oilers with lots of shots on net. Kris Knoblauch with 4 shots on net, but 1 did go in. Leon Draisaitl with 5, Connor Brown with 4. So of course the depth guys, despite not having much of a scoring touch last night, aside from Kris Knoblauch, and they were still making their presence there. But Zach Hyman, 13 hits last night to continue to lead all players in the Stanley Cup playoffs there. So kudos to that guy. I mean, him and Connor McDavid leading the way, in Leon Draisaitl leading the way on the leadership side of things, showing everybody how it is done there. When it comes to the hockey stat chart, everyone is pretty much in the negatives for the offensive side of the chart here. But I mean, Adin Hill did have some quality saves there, but again, everybody in the positives for the defensive ratings with the hockey stat chart. So it just goes to show, when everybody locks in, this is the type of play that Edmonton, can live up to when it comes to the defensive side of things. Everyone was saying, okay, Edmonton can't play defense. They're a run and gun team, a 2-man team. But, they are proving everybody wrong. Even Connor McDavid's getting sick of it. He says, how many times are we going to answer this question? Really, honestly, it's frustrating that we keep talking about this. We can defend. We've shown it time and time again. Coming into a tough building and winning a 1-0 game when it matters most. We can play that way. We can score goals, whatever it takes. We can win games. We keep putting ourselves in good positions, keep giving ourselves a chance. We keep knocking at the door. That's all you can do, is keep giving yourself a chance there. He is proving the haters wrong there, not just him, but Stuart Skinner as well. Just, again, continuing to prove exactly what they can do on the big stage in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Now, for the Oilers, I mean, again, a huge win. The first team to clinch a spot into the conference finals last night. And again, the Oilers still without Mattias Ekholm in Calvin Pickard. But hopefully we can see some updates before the start of the third round, as the Oilers, rest but no relaxation. As, again, like I mentioned, the first team to clinch a spot into the third round. But, Dallas also have 3-1 on the Winnipeg Jets. So that series could be wrapped up as early as tonight there. But you can see, isn't that nice to see the Oilers in the Western Conference final yet again. Meanwhile, on the other side there, I mean, Florida in Toronto, it almost seems like Florida's won the series, judging by last night's game. Toronto just completely demoralized there. And then the other series, the Carolina in Washington. Carolina proving to be, one of the best teams in the NHL against, a Washington Capital team. And again, that were no pushovers during the regular season there. But this Oiler team feels different. Even Darnell Nurse himself thinks that as well. Says, before we say we're better than last year, there's a lot of hockey to be played, but it's definitely a different team, a calm team. Guys have been through a lot of different experiences, played for a lot of different teams. It breathes into our bench. You can see in the play for these Oilers there again. Last night stifling the Vegas Golden Knights on many of their rush attempts. I mean, Vegas was the best team in the NHL when it came to rush offense. The Oilers realized that, recognized what they had to do, and did it to perfection there. And I mean, Zach Hyman, like I mentioned, 78 hits during these 2025 playoffs. So hopefully he gets some rest before the start of the next round, because he will be a pivotal X factor whoever Edmonton plays with. That is it for today's video. Let me know down in the comments what you thought about last night's game. Did you love it? Would you love to see something more out of Edmonton last night? I mean, what more could you have wanted? I mean, they, again, shut down the Vegas Golden Knights and, more importantly, the Jack Eichel line. But again, not much to complain on my side about these Oilers, again, except for the special teams on the road, of the power play, I should mention, to be more specific, on the road there. Hopefully they find a way to get that going. But that is it. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. And folks, let's go Oilers. I mean, third time in 4 years they are in the Western Conference Final. They are halfway to Stanley. 8 wins down, 8 more to go. Take care, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. I'm Matt.